Wideck welcoming you to Game 3 of this Best of 5 series. This time on Newkirk Precint. And in the bottom right, spawning as the Blue Terran, we've got Mouse Sports representative Lucifron. His opponent, spawning in the bottom left, the American player, representing Team Millennium, we've got Goswser. And too bad for Goswser. He is down 2-0 in this best of 5. So he's going to have to get his act together. He's going to have to try and find a way to solve the Lucifron puzzle, or else he's going to be going home very early in this best of 5. And Lucifron, on the other hand, everything he's been doing has been working, so he's probably not going to change very much. There's a supply depot. Maybe he'll go for barracks first again, like he did last game. Goswser goes for 15 hats last couple games. Is it time for him to adapt? Or is it just keep doing the same thing and the third time's the charm? And it looks like he's going to be going for hatch first. Lucifron this time. Looks like he's saving up minerals. He might be going for 14cc. There's the hatch for Goswser. And Lucifron looks like he's going for CC first on the high ground. Lucifron is also going to be, not Lucifron, sorry, Goswser is getting an extractor before pool. And there's a pool. So he really wants some gas, probably for Zergling speed, for map control. Lucifron has very intelligently blocked off the front with that high ground command center. And I've seen a couple games today where players opted for the low ground command center, and then the drone was able to harass. So the high ground command center is just safer. You do lose a few seconds of mining time, but this is just a much safer play, and you don't have to worry nearly as much. You block off scouting. You block off the drones from picking off your SCVs. And also, if there's like a 10 pool or something crazy like that, it'll also prevent that from losing the game. So it is much safer. Goswser's got 100 gas. There we go. Zergling speed being researched immediately. Lucifron is going to notice how much gas is missing from that extractor. So he should know what is up exactly. Yes, he's just going to go back to confirm. So you know Zergling speed is on the way. Hellions are not going to be that effective, and he doesn't bother building any Reapers, as I said, because with Zergling speed, those Zerglings can hunt down Reapers. They are faster than Reapers. So Lucifron's just going to play it safe. He's going to build Marines and a bunker to protect his natural. And Goswser has his first pack of Zerglings out. They're heading across the middle of the map. Lucifron's factory is almost complete. He's going to lift off and attach it to that reactor. And those Zerglings are not going to find very much. There's a bunch of bullets. And the Zerglings are able to escape, so no damage done. Meanwhile, Goswser is going to set up his third hatchery. And he's extending his creep, which is a good thing to do, obviously, for all Zergs. Because now, with that third base that's going to be coming into play soon, you really do want that creep highway to spread between the bases. And this lone Zergling is just hacking away at this reactor. And the Marines are not out yet. The Hellions just barbecue it. So I guess that's the price for not keeping your pets on a leash. They just get burnt. And now the two Hellions are going to be darting across the map. Unfortunately, with Zergling speed, the Hellions are not going to be able to outrun them. And the Roach Warren is being constructed for Goswser, but the Hellions are going to be able to detect that third. Yep, able to spot it, and they're going to withdraw. These creep tubers might be under attack by the Hellions. Great pickoff by Lucifron. Able to stop one of the active creep tubers from coming into effect. The second one is destroyed as well. And this is one of the main jobs of the Hellions. They don't do significant damage, but they can destroy creep tumors and stop that creep spread, and every little bit helps. The Hellions are just parked outside that purple goop right now, looking for an entrance. And very interesting play by Lucifron. He's actually got Cloak and a Banshee on the way behind this. But the Roaches are out. Banshees are very good against Roaches. But generally, you don't build Banshees for defense. You build them to harass. And now it looks like the Hellions are not going to be able to stop any more of that creep spread. The Roaches are just too close. Lucifron's third command center is almost finished. And I guess this is one of the first times in the entire series where Goswser actually had one more base than his opponent, at least for a little bit of time. Now with these Hellions streaking in, these drones are going to be under extreme duress. Goswser has to be careful. 2 drones down. 3 drones down. And a couple Zerglings. So very successful by Lucifron, killing 3 drones and 2 Zerglings for the cost of nothing. And now this queen is going to go down from the Hellion fire and the Banshee missiles. So interesting combination. You've got Banshees and Hellions. But the creep spread is still sort of extensive. No more cleanup crews are being sent out here. The drones are mining effectively from the third. Looks the Hellions are going to go for another run-by attack. The Banshees are going to go to the south side of the map, but there's so many Overlords everywhere. Unfortunately, these Hellions were not able to do anything, and now with the Mutalisk out, these Hellions are going to be very ineffective. These Banshees are also going to be under attack. Cloak is finished, but there is a Spore Crawler at the main. This Queen will go down. Oh no, the Queen escapes with 1 life. And now with the Mutalisk flying in here, these Banshees have to be very careful, as Mutalisks are faster than Banshees. This Banshee is going to focus down on some drones. Able to get 2 drones, 3 drones, and it's going to go down. Not really worth losing a Banshee to kill 3 drones. As the Hellions are looking for some place to get in. A drone is coming out to try and build a 4th, but that's going to be stopped immediately. No! The Hellions drive by! And once they get picked off by the Roaches, the hatchery is put down. So Lucifron wasn't paying attention for a split second, and now that 4th hatchery is being constructed. At the same time, these Mutalisks are into the main, picking off SEVs and doing damage to these Banshees. But there are missile turrets and a lone Thor to prevent any more damage. The Hellions are now under extreme stress. Zergling's able to pick off mostly Hellions. Only 2 are left. And these 2 Hellions are going to be able to escape. They're able to tell their partners about how their brother Hellions were destroyed. But these bouncing glaive worms might finish them all off. 1 last Hellion, and it pops like a pimple. Leaving, well, not gooey stuff, but leaving mechanical stuff behind. I don't think there's any pimples like that in the world. If you do pump and pimple and mechanical stuff pops out, that's another story. Lucifron is going for a very different sort of composition, as in the first 2 games he went bio with tanks, and this time he's going Hellbats with Thors. So I have to see if this will work out or not. Generally, you don't want to go mech versus Zerg simply because you need the speed, you need the mobility of that bio death ball with the stimming and the kiting. You don't generally want to build these slow Thor and Hellbat units because the Zerg can outrun you. But the mechanical units do have superior firepower and range in a lot of situations. So Lucifron is hoping his different strategy will pan out as these two Cloak Banshees are streaming across the north part of the map. They're going to try and harass. But Goswser uses 4th base already has a Spore Crawler up. And those Banshees are not going to be effective. They're going to have to retreat. They're able to kill 3 drones. But now these Mutalisks are just hunting them. And this one lone Banshee is going to be able to escape. But he's come back into the range of the Overseer. And Lucifron is going to do some last-minute harass with this drone before the Banshee is picked off. Able to destroy 3 drones, and that Banshee's gone. So no more Banshees for our Terran player, except for this one damaged one. Both players have their 4th bases up, actually. And one of the things I mentioned before in the previous games was that Goswser did not have more bases than his opponent, and Zerg players do generally want one more base than their opponent. And in this case, in this game, Goswser has been doing a better job of that. And if you take a look at the supplies, he has a huge supply advantage. A 40 supply advantage over his Terran opponent. And with so many swarm hosts, something is bound to get killed. Just parking themselves right outside the 3rd of Lucifron. And there's not that many tanks. The tanks are in between here. But the counter to all these sorts of locusts is generally lots of siege tanks. I'm not sure why all those roaches were sent to their deaths. But Lucifron did just pick up a whole bunch of roach kills for free. But the never-ending stream of locusts is going to continue. And one of these tanks is going to get picked off by these locusts. The second one is under fire. The SCVs are able to repair, but the locust swarm is just going to continue. And now these Thors are going to take the brunt of the damage. One of the Thors was almost killed, is deep in the red. The Mutalisks are harassing the 4th, but the Thors are going to keep those Mutalisks at bay. And bye-bye Changelings. Wow, those big Thor cannons put an end to them very quickly. But at the same time, not with just the Mutalisks harass, but just outside the 3rd command center of Lucifron, we're having constant streams of locusts. And they're just so annoying to the Terran player. And now the locusts are going to change positions. They're going to try and break down this debris. And once the debris is down, it's going to be problems for these Thors. The Hellbats are going to try and march in here, but they're very slow. And these Thors are taking significant damage. That planetary fortress is going to go into overtime. And now the second wave of locusts are going to focus down this planetary fortress. And the siege tanks are significantly behind, so some of the buildings are going to take significant damage. This command center is going to go down. No! 65 life and a liftoff at the exact perfect time before it goes down. These Vipers are going to pull in a couple siege tanks, so there goes 6 supply. So good strategy by Goswser. 2 more Thors are pulled in. So this strategy of Vipers and Locusts I have not seen in a while, but you can see how effective it is. As you pull in units, the Locusts are able to destroy them for free. And now this Thor looks like it's under extreme pressure, and it's going to be destroyed. So Lucifron is losing significant amount of resources, almost 3-1 currently, and there's no end to these Locusts. The Ravens are going to send some Seeker missiles. But, okay, 3 of the Swarm Hosts were destroyed, 4 now. But most of the Swarm Hosts are still here, pumping out Locusts. And meanwhile, the creep spread is almost to Lucifron's base. And he's got 5 bases to Lucifron's 4, so the economic advantage, if you take a look at the resources, look at this, 13,000 minerals, 4,000 gas for our Zerg player. Our Zerg player is in a very good position. As he's able to basically have a map hack, he's able to see everything on this map with all those creep tumors. And he's just constantly poking away, costing resources from Lucifron. Lucifron's economy is okay, it's not bad, but compared to his opponent, it's horrible. It's sort of like when you make $100,000 a year and your next door neighbor makes $20 zillion a year. Yeah, you're doing good, but he's doing much better. He's got the yacht, and you got the Ford Focus. So it might be time for Lucifron to push out here. Because as the time goes on, it's just going to be more and more in Goswser users' favor. Because these locusts just never end. They're all free. And they are continuing to stream in here. SCVs are falling. The planetary forces constantly needs to be repaired. These roaches are just thrown away. So small consolation prize for Lucifron. But instead of roaches, hydras are being constructed. So it might be part of Goswser users' master plan to throw away those units. And finally, some of these swarm hosts are being under fire from these auto turrets, but without the ravens, they're not going to be able to finish their job. They're just going to be destroyed by the swarm host. So I'm not sure why the ravens put down auto turrets. And here come the vipers, the roaches, and the hydralisks. The point defense drone is able to deflect some of the attacks. A lot of siege tanks are pulled in, but there's not that many ground units here. These siege tanks are still going to fall. But so did the vipers. So overall, this engagement, I think, went pretty well for Lucifron, able to pick off Vipers and the Hydralisk attack force. And he's also able to protect his 5th, but still, without getting rid of these swarm hosts. And Lucifron's finally going to come back in here, dump down an auto turret. But like I said before, if he walks away out of detection, he's not going to be able to actually destroy the swarm host. The swarm hosts are going to try and waddle their way, but there's lots of tanks here and other units. He's actually in the middle of no man's land. 2 of the swarm hosts go down, but so is this tank. And this last swarm host is destroyed by a big bunch of auto turrets, but a whole stream of Ultralisks just rampaging in here. The tanks are taking successive damage. Interesting play. The secret missiles are coming down as well. So this is very, very different. I've never seen so many ultras just stream into a big pack of tanks. The auto turrets and the tanks are doing significant damage to these Ultralisks, and the Ultralisks have all been destroyed. Look at all those carcasses and bones. So Lucifron once again is able to hold off that attack. But look at the bank of Goswser user. He still has so many resources. And with 6 bases to Lucifron's 5, he still has a huge economic advantage. Not only does he have more minerals, he also has more bases. These 4 Hellbats are sent on a suicide mission near the south side of the map, and they're at least they're able to give scouting information to Lucifron about where this big stampeding pack of Ultralisks are, and they're gonna just waltz in here. The SCVs have to retreat. The command center is lifted. The secret missiles have all been fired, but 2 of them are duds. The last one was able to make a small connection. So this game is basically at a standstill. The map is cut in half virtually as the last hatchery is being built for Goswser on his side of the map. There's only one base remaining that hasn't been mined. Ultralists are going to try and come in here and do damage again, but they're scared away. And unfortunately, those secret missiles are once again duds. So great move by Goswser. Not so great for the Ravens by Lucifron. And this is one of the advantages for the Zerg, is since they have so much static defense choices, they're able to just build this wall of spore and spine crawlers. Terran players don't have that sort of option. All they have are planetary fortresses generally and missile turrets, but missile turrets don't hit ground, and planetary fortresses are very expensive and they take a very long time to build. But when you got 12,000 minerals in the bank, what are you supposed to do with that money? And Goswser says, well, you just build a whole bunch of stuff, and that is the right move to make. So Ultralists are on the south side of the map again, but this big pack of Vikings and Ravens knows exactly where they are. One Hellbat is going to go down, as both players are just hanging out, feeling each other out. This lone Hellbat is going to try and get some scouting information. As Ultralists come back in here for another round, one of the Ultralists does go down. And Lucifron says, screw this, I don't need this many SCVs. Here, eat them. I need the supply for my army. Not a bad choice. And these Ultralists are coming in here and they're retreating again. So they're just going back and forth, in and out of the base, forcing Lucifron to move back and forth. And I love the fact that Goswser has one Locust, or one Swarm Host. So he just pumps out 2 Locusts every few seconds. And the Ultralists are going to actually run all the way into Lucifron's 4th orbital, or planetary fortress. I'm very surprised by this move, because unless he has another attack behind this, the planetary fortress does fall, so it has been successful in that regard. Able to find the fusion reactor and punts that down. But all the Ultralists were destroyed, so significant losses for our Zerg player. Look at the resources lost, so I'm not sure if that's really a victory, just to stop one building. And like I said, that one Swarm Host is pumping out 2 Locusts constantly. And actually now there's actually a few more Swarm Hosts, so he wanted to dump some of that Ultralist supply and build more Swarm Hosts. I think that's not a bad choice. Swarm Hosts are very annoying, as in a game, even though you have 10,000 resources or 4,000 resources, eventually there will be no resources. So every time you get a hit on a Terran mechanical unit, that's resources lost for the player. As streams and streams of these Locusts are destroyed, but once again the Vipers are back. Lucifron has to be careful here. Two of the Thors are pulled in. One's going to get picked off. Second one gets pulled in again and is destroyed. The Vikings are giving chase, but they're going to retreat as he sees all those spore crawlers. This planetary fortress is burning down as well, and the swarms of Locusts are coming. The planetary fortress falls. Point defense drone goes down, able to save a couple units. But now the resources lost are evening out. the tactics of Locusts and Vipers is effective, especially in this sort of situation. And Lucifron is not rebuilding his tanks, he's just rebuilding battle cruisers once he loses supply, because obviously swarm hosts cannot hit battle cruisers. But we have to remember here, eventually it's going to whittle down Lucifron's mineral base. It doesn't matter how many units they have, because the Locusts are going to be able to get some hits. And we also have to remember here, as these two Hellbats come in here to die, that this one base has not been taken by either player, so Lucifron is going to be hurting 4 minerals eventually. More and more Locusts are coming in, and the longer this goes, the more Ghost User's going to love this, because he's going to win eventually. If Lucifron does not push out, Lucifron's not go, or if Lucifron doesn't push out, Ghost User's not going to either. He's just going to sit here. Lucifron is going to do some creep clearing, but when he's doing creep clearing, his opponent knows that there are no battle cruisers there, and now it's time to strike. All these units are pulled in by the Vipers. Blinding Cloud as well, so they're not able to fight back. So 3 of the tanks are picked off. So great move. Once he was able to know that Lucifron was out of position, all the Vipers were sent in, and significant losses were dealt to the Terran Armada. And the Ravens are going to put down many, many defense drones to try and prevent loss of those Terran mechanical units. But if you look at all these war crawlers and all these Vipers, the Yamato cannons do go down. But the Zerg is slowly pushing forward, and in fact, there's offensive queens poking away at these point defense drones, and the Locusts have finally, they're getting closer and closer.